The topic for today is actually three topics together. First is the separation of powers. I'll quickly take you, as the time is short, to all the three powers. I'm speaking very legally, of course. And the first is separation of powers. Constitution of India itself recognizes the intra-separation of powers of various authorities of the Constitution in. For example, the state legislature has different powers. The central legislature has different powers. Powers of the governors are separate, powers of the chief minister are separate. The governor has a very limited powers. It's a rubber stamp. Yeah, president and the governors are rubber stamp. But of course, in this government, the rubber stamp becomes something like a hammer when the governor is the governor of the state in which the BJP is not in power. So that is one thing. Secondly, there's a separation of power between the judiciary and the executive. Now, this separation of power came into 1973 in the Code of Criminal Procedure of 1973, brought into effect from April 1974, where there was a separation of power between the judiciary and the executive. Now, unfortunately, we have a prime minister who knows nothing. So he came out very interesting. He described even this act as a colonial act. An act passed by the Indian Parliament was called a colonial act. That's the height of ignoramuseness, but can't help it. We have to go along with it. An act made by the Parliament, जैसे बोलते हैं, भारतीय दंड प्रक्रिया संहिता was the criminal procedure court. इससे सेपरेशन हुआ एग्जीक्यूटिव का. पहले एग्जीक्यूटिव मैजिस्ट्रेट्स केस करते थे. एग्जीक्यूटिव मैजिस्ट्रेट्स जो थे वो मर्डर ट्रायल्स भी करते थे, पर 73 के बाद जुडिशियल मैजिस्ट्रेट्स के पास ये पावर गया. तो ये एक सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर है जो प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट उसको अपने कन्वीनियंटली किस हिसाब से देखती है, वो अलग चीज़ है. नाउ क्वेश्चन कम्स अबाउट डेमोक्रेटिक अकाउंटेबिलिटी. Democracy is based on accountability. If there is no accountability, there is no democracy at all. You must understand that. And this government, nobody has any accountability whatsoever. And the democracy is being assaulted day in and day night today. And you know, the first slogan of democracy being routed is कांग्रेस रहित देश हो. मतलब कोई अपोजिशन हो नहीं, और कोई अपोजिशन है नहीं तो डेमोक्रेसी आएगी कहाँ से? अब ये तो सोच ऐसा है, सब कोई एक ही व्यक्ति के जो बोलता है उसके बाद उसके सब तुतारी मार के उसके पीछे बोलते रहते हैं हमेशा. अब नॉन बायोलॉजिकल प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैं तो अलग सोच है उनकी, जो भी है, पर वो ऐसी बात कह देते हैं जो कि समझ किसी की आती नहीं है, पर सब लोग ताली बजा के कहते हैं हाँ 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 बिल्कुल ठीक है. दिस इज समथिंग लाइक ए पार्लियामेंट ऑफ रशिया, which is totally under Putin. Whatever he says, it happens. He's probably following that, considering his that. That is the democracy, and accountability has nexus with the third topic, which I would say within this topic is called whether federalism. Our constitution is a quasi-unitary, a quasi-federal constitution. The idea was to, because we had different states all over, right from the beginning. There was no one country. Every state has its own constitution, its own currency. Even some of the states had their own army, military, and air force. Gwalior had its own air force before the independence. So when they all came together, the ethos was to keep it together like a state within a state. So each state was just having different powers. And that was called the, how is this federalism withered under the present government? because the idea is an absolute fascist idea to keep all under one thumb. So send your governors with a particular agenda to the different states which are not governed by the BJP, and extra constitutional authorities are created. I say extra constitutional because only in the name they are governors, but then they behave like the chief ministers of the state. And it has come up with the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, in recent judgment, has given even time limit to the governors to pass the act. Can't just sit over it. Now, if the governor sits over the act for months on together, or refers to the president such acts which need not be referred to the president, not every act has to be referred to the president. I'm told it's 1 minute remaining, so I think before time will finish, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity of speaking to you. Thank you.